Kegan Kline is back to his guilty plea. He's been sentenced next month. He's after switching from not guilty to guilty a few times. I believe he should have pleaded not guilty and taken this to trial. I think he had a little point. Essentially, Kegan is being charged for every piece of CSAM found on all the devices found in the home. He maintains that maybe 7 of the 25 charges were him, the rest were his dad. He said he can't prove that though, and all his attorneys are advising him to just plead guilty because you'll get time off. This contradicts what the judge told him when the judge said, if you have every right to take this to trial. If by pleading guilty, you're not going to get a lesser sentence than you would if you took it to trial and were found guilty. Kegan is a notorious liar. You just can't believe anything what he says. But we have transcripts of detectives throwing down Kegan's throat that they know for a fact that there was 2 users using the phone. One of the underage girls that Kegan was talking to, he knew her address and he asked her for the address. So Kegan maintains, here, I know where she lives. If that was really me on the phone, I wouldn't need to ask her where she lives. I can call her dad up right now. So he's like, that's not me. That was definitely someone else. He denies any of the Sandy Hook Google searches. He was the last person to contact Libby. There was one interaction from Kegan's devices where somebody was communicating with an underage girl. They asked them to Skype them, and the only user logged into Skype on the devices was Tony Kline's Skype account. The detectives themselves have talked about this in Kegan's interrogation. I actually had wrote down in my notes, I was going back over them last night. Thank God we did those live last year because I don't even recall making some of those slides. But one of the notes I had down was FBI analysts confirmed or said that there was 2 users on the devices. I don't know where I got that from. I don't know, did I make a leap from what the investigator said in his interrogation, which is sloppy for me. I don't know, did I hear it on some other podcast or something, but I can't find the source of that information now, so I just question it a small bit. If that happened, that has to be in Kegan Kline's discovery, and by association probably in the Delphi discovery as well, I would think. So if it's not there, I question if it's even true. Because you can't, on one hand, say, Kegan Kline, you're guilty for 100% of everything criminal that was done with all these devices. And then in the other hand, say, but we know you're not the only one using them. Like, I would really love to see this flushed out at a trial. I would love to see the detectives take the stand and explain. And, like, maybe they can just go up on the stand and say, no, we were lying through a hole at the interrogation, just trying to get Kegan to admit something. Which they can do. They're under no obligation to tell the truth. However, in Kegan's 2020 interrogation, both detectives went hard after the angle of tell us who was using the device, we know there was 2. They said there was 2 people routinely speaking on multiple devices. They said the phonetics is different, the phrasings are different, and when you look at the messages, especially around some of the conversations where daddy gets brought into it, it looks very different. They were very firm with there is 2 different authors of these messages. They said, Kegan, listen, we don't care what you say, how you tried to get out of it. We know for a fact, we know it for a fact that there was 2 users on those devices. Kegan himself is now maintaining, yeah, they're right, there was 2 users. I didn't have Skype, I didn't make those Google searches, I didn't set up that meeting, there was definitely 2 users, but he's pleading guilty to all 25 charges related to the phones. Why isn't he pleading not guilty? Like we're going to get no answers now. We're not going to get these detectives explaining themselves. Not at Kegan's trial anyway, because there is none. He's pleading guilty, so will we get answers in a Richard Allen trial? Will his defence be able to drag it down this road? I don't see why not, because there's so much in the discovery for them. I just think there's enough there based off what we know right now that could change if detectives went on the stand and said whatever. But there's enough there for Kegan to put reasonable doubt in some of the jury members' mind about some of these charges. He's still going to get hammered and go away for a very long time. But I just wish he pled not guilty. I wish this just all got flushed out at a trial, because is there 2 users on those devices or not? It looks like it to me. I don't think the detectives were bluffing in that interrogation when they said maybe it wasn't for a fact, but I believe at the time they fully believed that there was 2 users using the devices, and I do too. By looking at the communications, by looking at the references that were made to girl's stomach and stuff like that. It just seems like Kegan has a little point. If there was 2 users using that devices, should he have the full charges for everything that was found in those devices? I don't know. I guess we'll never know, no, if he pleads not guilty. Hopefully we'll find out at the Richard Allen trial, but part of me then is worried that if we're deep in this rabbit hole at a Richard Allen trial, then he's winning big time. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Good luck. God bless. I hope you have a nice day.